Hello everybody! Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all having a fabulous week. This week we're going to be discussing modesty and all that comes with it. One of the definitions of modesty is, and let me get it, I have it right here, behavior, manner or appearance intended to avoid impropriety or indecency. Now, you may be thinking, what does modesty have to do with feminism? But modesty is something that women are told to have all over the world, so I thought it would be very interesting to discuss this week. I'm going to be looking at issues of the different levels of modesty all over the world. Going to be looking at things like headscarves, obviously from the perspective of a white woman who has absolutely no idea, but you know, we're gonna look at it, we're gonna touch on it, and just kind of in general, like dress codes and different levels and what implications that has for society. So let's get right in. I want to talk about this because I think it's a super interesting concept. And one of the kind of the main things that sticks out when I think about this is, you know, when people say things like, oh, you know, we don't have sexism here, you know, like go over to the Middle East where it still exists. And they say that like, oh, well, you know, it doesn't exist here. And like, first of all, that's just like so not true. And I will get to that another day. But I think like they look at things like women having to dress more modestly. Is that a word? Yeah, modestly. Modestly? I really should Google these things before I do these videos. I don't know. Having to dress more modestly, and they see women in the West as, you know, being free and liberated, and like that's their conclusion. And I think it's just super interesting to talk about how that's just like so not true. And I think like why I'm super interested by this is because like in terms of clothing, for example, so like modesty, you know, if you're modest, you're maybe covering more skin, and if you're, you know, immodest, you're maybe showing a lot more skin. And I think it's super interesting because if you think about it, like there literally are different levels of modesty and of expectations like across the whole world. So you're like, yes, in the Middle East, in general, maybe women, and in, you know, Asia as well, women might, you know, cover more of their skin, that it's like super frowned upon to maybe, you know, show your shoulders or show your legs, and that's there. But it's like, yeah, then you move across then to the West, and yeah, you know, we're allowed wear, you know, mini skirts and dresses and show our legs, but it's like we also can't walk around like bare ass naked either, you know what I mean? Like I think it's super interesting that like there still is some kind of a dress code, you know what I mean, and some kind of a way of dressing. And I think like what's even funnier is that like people in the West would say like, oh yeah, we're super liberated, and then like when it comes to like bikinis, because you know most of the bikinis that like women wear, you say like in Ireland or wherever, you know, like might like cover the whole ass, but like then you go to Brazil and their bikinis are literally just thongs, like their whole ass on show. And you know, people from where I'm from would say that's scandalous, you know. So I just think it's so interesting that there literally is this level no matter where you go. And why I'm so passionate about it is because I think that there shouldn't be a dress code anywhere. Like I'm obviously of the opinion that like women should be able to wear what they like, when they like, you know, whether they want to show loads of skin or show no skin. Like I really want that, and I think it's super interesting that like there is just these varying degrees, and there is some kind of expectation put on women no matter where you go. So I just want to dispel that myth that, you know, there isn't this dress code or this modesty thing here in the West, because it's just so not true. Women in, you know, Europe, or, you know, women in the West are told that, you know, if we wear too many clothes or show too little skin, that we're prudes. But then if we show too much skin, we're sluts. Like it's just like not really a winning thing. Like we just can't win, guys. And then, as I said, I wanted to touch on the issue of headscarves. So obviously, like I am white, I'm not Muslim, I'm not from a religion or a group that wears headscarves or covers my hair, but I just think it's so interesting because like, you know, people walk around in hats all day and they're not bothered, you know, or like old Irish women used to wear things that cover their hair, and like that was fine. So like it's just this whole argument of like when men say like, oh, those women, we need to get those headscarves off them and then they'll be free. And it's like, okay, no, you're just like cloaking your racism and like xenophobia in like apparent like women's liberation, and it's so transparent. Like we see right through you. But still, like, even if it was like a genuine person and they were like, no, like, let's get the headscarves off the women because they want to free them. And it's like, first of all, you've absolutely no idea why a woman is wearing a headscarf. She might absolutely fucking love it, and that is her prerogative. Like, if you're telling her not to wear that headscarf, you're still a man policing a woman's body. That is still telling her what she should and should not wear, and that is still applying some kind of modesty. Whether you're telling her, like, oh yeah, and this goes for any woman, you know, whether you're telling them, like, oh yeah, like, you know, take all your clothes off in the name of women's liberation. It's like, well, she might not want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, she just might not want to. Or like calling her prude and calling her frigid for wearing too many clothes. And it's like, well, that's maybe what she's most comfortable in. It's just like, bottom line, we just shouldn't be telling women what to wear or what not to. It's just insane. Because, like, obviously, in terms of just the headscarves, some women like wearing it. Yeah, a lot of women don't. And I think it absolutely should be just their right. It should be just their choice. You know, whether they want to, whether they don't want to. For their different reasons, be it, you know, religious, be it modest, be it like cultural, be it just that's what they've grown up with. Like, women should just be allowed to do exactly what they want. And we just shouldn't be telling them what to do, guys. We shouldn't be telling them what to do. And then moving on to the issue of, again, just kind of men's opinions and men's reactions and men's thoughts and men's actions around what women wear and what women do. And an interesting quote I came across while researching for this video, it kind of just explains the contradiction in the messages that women are given, and I think it's super interesting. So I'm gonna again go back to my info and call it out. So it says, while popular culture tends to disempower women by telling them that they must dress to get men to look at them, i.e. sexy, the modesty culture tends to disempower women by telling them that they must dress to keep men from looking at them, like keep men away from them. And I think it's super interesting. And a lot of times we're conditioned through, you know, people and different messages that, like, we should show loads of skin for men, you know, to get men, because, like, why else would a woman want to show loads of skin and be sexy? God forbid, for herself. You know, like, we're told that how we dress is for men. And then on the flip side, we're told, again, cover up or you'll get male attention. You know, cover up and guys will leave you alone. And, like, both of these things are just so problematic. Again, like I said, women should just be able to dress for themselves. If they want to show skin, if that's what they're most comfortable in, go do that, do your thing. If you want to cover up and not really show your skin and that's what you feel most comfortable in, absolutely go do that. Amazing. Whatever. Why are we still making what women wear about men? Like, why are we making it about men? Whether they wear too little or too much, why is it still about men? Like, why are we literally dressing for men? A friend told me a story a few weeks ago about, she lives here in Brussels and she was just getting, you know, getting up every day, dressing, it's super hot, whatever. And then she went back to her home country and was getting dressed one day, and she actually had the active thought in her head, like, oh, I can wear shorts now. And she didn't realise why she thought that she couldn't wear shorts when she was in Brussels. And she realised it was because that she would get catcalled or hit on when she was wearing shorts out and about in Brussels, but that she could wear them fine, like, when she was at home. And, like, she was making this choice completely unconsciously. Like, when she was getting dressed in Brussels, she was not putting on shorts, but it was completely subconscious. And she didn't actually realise until she came home and actively thought, I can wear shorts now. And then she was like, oh my god, I was literally not doing that. Just completely unaware. And just completely, like, just again, just like, and I do it. Like, we all do it. I literally dress so that I won't be bothered. Like, and it's so hard because it's so hot. And you're like, you want to just wear, like, cute dresses and cute things, but you know you're going to be stared at, you know you're going to be catcalled, you know you're going to be, you know, maybe a little bit more at risk, I don't know. But it also is just ridiculous, because why I'm so passionate about it and why I'm so angry about it is because we tell women that what they wear matters. And when things are done to them, like when they're sexually assaulted or when they're catcalled or when anything is done to them, that we say it's because, oh, you were wearing too little clothes. And it's like, what? It's like, okay, so do you think that nothing is done to women when they have loads of clothes on. Like, it's just this insane conclusion. Like, there are times when I'm literally head to toe covered, I'm in a tracksuit, I look disgusting, and I'm still catcalled. Like, it's literally nothing to do with what women wear. It's literally to do with power and an abuse of that power. It is not about how sexy you are, about how attractive you are, what about your wearing. It has nothing to do with that. And by employing these rules that, like, women have to wear loads of clothes, or women are shamed for wearing little clothes, we're then excusing when things are done to them, because we say, like, well, you know, these social rules are in place, and these modesty rules are in place, and these dress codes are in place, so if you defy those, then you deserve to be sexually assaulted, or you deserve to have something done to you. And that's how we justify it. And the same men that are sexually assaulting women and blaming them on, oh, well, she was wearing a short skirt, are the same men who invent this dress code in the first place, and who invent these rules and create this society in the first place, which shames women for what they wear. And it's just this vicious cycle. And it's also just like, it's so insulting to men. It's so insulting, because it's like, it's just saying that, like, oh, if a woman's in a short skirt, well, you know, the man just can't control himself. You know, a man will just have to hit on her, a man will just have to catcall her. And it's so insulting to men. It's literally degrading them to just animals or beasts who see legs and arms and have to do something. No, you don't. Like, you can be better than that. You can be so many things. You don't have to resort to this misogynistic brute. It's just ridiculous. And I don't like it, guys. I don't like it. Just one thing that popped into my head as well is, like, you know, when Daily Mail shows pictures of, like, celebrities, and they're just, like, at the beach or whatever, and it's like, oh, so-and-so is flaunting her bikini body, and she is flaunting that ass. And it's like, no, she's literally just, like, at the beach, and, like, it's hot, and she's, like, swimming and stuff. So she's, like, wearing a bikini. She's not flaunting anything, she's actually just wearing what is socially acceptable in this kind of setting. But okay, you do you, I guess. I guess bottom line, it's just like, women are so monitored. There are just so many people who think they can tell us what to do and what to wear. And you look at men and they're not told anything. They're just allowed to do what they want. And it's like, oh my god, why? And, like, you could almost maybe justify some of the modesty rules or, like, social etiquette things that we've come up with. But then you look at men and you're like, well, there's nothing like the equivalent of this for men. Like, why aren't they told that they need to, like, cover their shoulders going into a church? Or why do they need to cover their hair? It's just kind of insane. And, like, again, when you look at it through that lens, it's just like, well, you know, if men aren't told that, then why should women be? You know, why should we have to curb our behaviour, or, you know, change the way we dress to avoid harassment or anything like that? And I just think it's super interesting to think about. Like, I think it's kind of interesting as well to talk about, like, if you're in another country, like, abiding by those rules and stuff. If I kind of go to a different country like that, I will, to an extent, adapt to their dress codes. But I'm still kind of I'm kind of in two minds about it. There's one side that's like, oh, well, respect the culture, and then there's one that's like, well, if the culture, like, is, like, actively oppressing women and using clothes as a means to do that, then, like, do I agree with that? Should I get involved? I don't know. It's kind of just an interesting thing to think about, and I don't really have an answer for that today anyway, but it is something to think about. That's today's video. I guess bottom line, as I've said throughout the video, it's just that, you know, women shouldn't be told what to do. We shouldn't be told what to wear, and, you know, it shouldn't be then used against us when we do decide what to wear or to do with our bodies. And that's the general gist of the video. And again, this goes out to everyone who says, like, oh, that, like, sexism is only in the Middle East, doesn't exist here. It's just simply not true. And there are just different levels of rules and modesty, social etiquette norms that are applying all over the world. And I think it's super interesting to think about. But yeah, bottom line, gals, wear what you want, I think, anyway. So that is me this week. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Would be super interested to hear your thoughts, or even different things that you've seen in different countries and different kind of norms, that kind of thing. Would be fascinated to know. While you're here, would love if you like my page or like the video if you enjoy it, and spread the word. So have a fabulous week, everyone, and speak to you soon. Bye!